Good evening. Welcome to Three of Cups Divine Arts. This is Liz Whittaker, Divination Station. I will give people a couple minutes to get on here, and I will go ahead and share the video out. If you have joined me already, thank you very much. And like I said, just give me a moment to get this out. And how is everyone doing today? It is Monday, Moon Day. Monday is, of course, ruled by the sun. The moon. I literally just said it. It is ruled by the moon. And today the moon is in Gemini. So it's a really good day to, really good time to get some networking in, to do some social media, anything that has to do with communication. Gemini is great for that. And I'm sharing this around a little bit. All right. So as people are popping in, go ahead and drop where you are from, where you're watching from, your name, your pronouns, and since I will be talking about tarot, go ahead and talk about what deck you're using, if you did any, if you did a pull for the week ahead so far. Tina, hi. And all right, I think, all right, Caitlin, Donna, hi. I'll wait just a couple more minutes for some people to pop in, and then I will go ahead and start. Again, welcome to Divination Station Tarot, brought to you by True Paranormal, the podcast. I'm Liz Whittaker, your host for this broadcast. Today we are discussing the Death card. I will be following up with some sample readings at the end. If you do want a reading at the end, I do pull one card. Go ahead and share out. Hi, all. Hashtag shared, just so I know that I can go ahead and scroll through the comments real quick and just write down who shared, and we'll make sure you get a card. Michelle, hello. Thank you all for joining so promptly. So, all right, when you join the live broadcast, please take a moment, drop your name, where you're from, pronouns, what deck you're working with this week or today. And if you pulled, any cards, anything that kind of made you think a little bit. Don't forget to love, react, wow react, heart react the video. Caitlin, perfect. Donna, perfect. And when you share the broadcast out, share it to any groups you're a part of that it's allowed, any page that you think it's allowed, your own personal page, tag some of your friends. That helps us grow organically. Also kind of brings in people that would be interested in what we do here at Three of Cups Divine Arts and kind of helps us grow. So thank you. And for your sharing, like I said, you'll go ahead and get a one card reading towards the end of the broadcast. All right. All right, so we're at 8:05 again. It is Monday. It is Moon Day. Moon is in Gemini. Mercury is still retrograde for about a week. We got about a week to go, and then a little bit of shadow period. How's everybody's Mercury retrograde going? Mine's going okay. Energy a little bit a little bit more tired. Well, I am also moving and packing, so there's that. Mercury retrograde is a great time to kind of rest and relax, and I definitely have not been doing that. I have been getting notice that the Facebook Live broadcast, the sound's cut out a little bit, or the video. I just ask that you bear with me. If you do cut out for any reason, you can always watch the replay. Leah, hello. New here from Australia. Welcome. And Teresa, hello. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I'll probably, interject the little things about sharing as we go. So today, we are talking about a biggie. We're talking about the Death card, which is, of course, one of the cards that when it gets pulled, it has a visceral reaction. People react to the Death card. They recognize death. They recognize the image. It's that kind of Grim Reaper image, even though he's wearing a suit of armor and he's on a horse. So it's a little bit different depiction than the traditional Grim Reaper. And we'll kind of get into what he's wearing and why. And Jenna, hello. So last week we looked at the Hangman. The Hangman is all about pause, forced pause. Whatever life has thrown at us, we have to pause there. After that pause, we got to get going again. And with that, why not change, right? So the Hangman is kind of like the chrysalis phase, and death is the emergence. Death is the butterfly coming out. So that Hangman, it actually kind of even looks like, how a chrysalis hangs from a tree or a branch. I'm actually going to write that down, so I'm going to look into it a little bit. So Hangman is the chrysalis stage, and then death is that emergence. And we have to take that step. It's a change in momentum. It's a metamorphosis. And I really like that word in regards to death because it's not just a change, it's a complete overhaul. We're looking at things completely different. It's not always comfortable. Change is not always comfortable and it rarely is comfortable. Even if it's a change that we want, it still takes time and energy to shift. We, as humans, tend to resist change if at all possible. Like I said, I'm moving neighborhoods, and even though I want to, and it's going to be great, there are definitely times where I'm like, I'm just going to live in this room full of boxes because I'm just done. This is hard and I don't want to. But you keep going because you know the end result is going to be that payoff. So death as the card itself, we kind of did a cursory glance here. There's a lot going on in the card too. We might just kind of want to focus on that death figure, but there's a lot going on. So we have death. Death itself is protected. It's wearing a black armor. You can see the skeleton face. He's got that feather, which is kind of a callback from like the Fool. The Fool has the feather. And the flower on the flag is a few other places in the deck. Sometimes it's on the back of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck as well. Not on mine, but on some of them. It has Rosicrucian callbacks, Rosicrucian roots, which is, esoteric sect, cult, whatever you want to call it, that kind of goes back to the Templars before that. Also, 13, Templars, Friday the 13th. So there's a lot of that imagery as well. The Templars were captured and not assassinated. They were eliminated on Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th That's one of the reasons that they say it's a bad luck day. Catherine, hello. So we see that horse. We see Death riding in on the horse. Just kind of slowly, kind of nonchalantly riding in. We see a few different figures in front of and below that horse. So we have the king here. And the king is actually without his crown. The status, Death doesn't care about status. Death doesn't care about wealth. Doesn't care who you are. We have the Pope or the bishop figure kind of in front of Death. It's almost like he's bargaining with Death. He is negotiating with Death. We have the girl down here, probably like preteen, teenage. She is kind of ignoring it. She's got her head turned. She's looking the other way. She's not addressing it. The only one that's looking Death right in the face with that courage is that little child, the younger child. And some might say because the younger child doesn't really have, they still have their innocence. They don't have a reason to fear that Death figure yet, where the king is just, it feels like he gave up. And the bishop or the Pope figure is bargaining. And the young woman is kind of ignoring it. She doesn't want to deal with that. And sometimes we can get stuck in that as well, where we don't want to deal with change. Like I said, me deciding I'm just going to live, in a living room full of boxes and empty bins. I'm not going to, but the thought is there. A few other things to look at on the Death card. So over here, we have that sun imagery. We've seen that a few times. We'll see it a few more times. So that is the dawn on the horizon. It's the promised land. And we have those two towers as well. We're going to see those pop up a few more times. And then, of course, in the background, we have the water running. We have that stream. It's that idea of water, waterfall. So that those emotions run deep when those transitions come up. Can bring up a lot of emotions. Fear's an emotion. Can bring up fear, but can also bring up like hope and inspiration that we are maybe finally turn that corner, or we're finally going to, kind of level up, I like to say. All right, Sarah, hello. So we have those 4 responses in Death, and those are kind of to Death, and those are, kind of phases that we go through as we're faced with change as well. Death can warn against pride in general. Also, kind of, as I was doing my notes for this, it kind of reminded me of, I really thought of the Danse Macabre. If you've ever seen the woodcut of the skeletons kind of dancing around a graveyard, that was, a way to kind of laugh with death. And those images were popular around plague times, so around the Black Death. Cynthia, hello. So we're about 8:15 again. If you've popped on, make sure you comment #shared. Get the broadcast out there, tag some people, bring some people in, and I'll make sure to get you a reading. So with death, it is water. So it's another water card. Emotions. Represents the zodiac sign of Scorpio. And I think we have a couple Scorpios on here. If you are a Scorpio, let me know. Just comment Scorpio. So planetary representation is Mars and Pluto. Mars is the primary sign of Scorpio, and Pluto is a secondary, because Pluto wasn't really around when all of the zodiac started. So it has that very, very deep, watery, mysterious energy. Scorpio itself, Scorpio rules the 8th house. 8th house is death, sex, other people's money, So it has a lot of really mysterious qualities in that house. Pluto's the underworld, so it has those deep underworld currents kind of going underneath. The darker aspect of the Wheel of Fortune. So both have that idea of fate. We're all subject to fate, for better or worse. Wheel of Fortune is that kind of like you're on that upswing, and death can be that like a little bit darker side of the Wheel of Fortune. Sometimes death can have to do with shadow work, where we really have to look at ourselves and say, how did I mess that up? What can I do to change? What can I do to be better? And you kind of level up yourself with that shadow work. It's not easy. We have to take that kind of dive to the underworld to do it. Pop culture. Pop culture loves the death card because it's intense. It is dramatic, just like Scorpio. Patty, hello. So death does have that drama that Scorpio represents as well. So pop culture loves the card. Anytime, that you see, a tarot reader or fortune teller, whatever they have in that particular show, and the death card comes up, there's some nefarious actions going to happen. Someone's going to turn up murdered or, died by suicide. There's going to be some dramatic death there. And when tarot readers, people can see death and they get that like immediate visceral reaction. Whereas tarot readers know that if you get the Tower card, that's that unpredictable change. So death, a lot of times when the death card pops up in a reading, and the reading is kind of, you can tell kind of what's changing. You can say, what are you ready to let go of? And people usually know. Death very, very rarely has to do with an actual physical death or passing from this realm to another. It can, I will not say that a tarot card never means anything ever, but very rarely. But if your intuition if you're kind of tuned into that, if you are reading for someone else and it does come up, be gentle. You don't ever want to say someone's going to die. That's dramatic. That is often not true. And it's scary. You don't want to scare people. Have a conversation in a very gentle way about it if you do get that idea. I have had it come up, and the person that I was reading for knew what it meant and who it was for. So they actually broached it with me. And that really opened me up, and I felt more comfortable addressing that. But they brought it to me. I didn't bring it to them. So when it does come up in a reading, and again, you always want to see what's around it. When it comes up in a reading, again, what do you need to say goodbye to? Not what do you want to leave behind. What do you need to leave behind? Is it, that relationship that is just not going well? Is it the job that you really don't know why you're still there, but you are? What is it? What is it that you need to say goodbye to? And hello, Ashley. All right. And I don't know if comments are behind, but they seem to be a bit behind. So go ahead and keep putting all the comments in there. I'll get to them eventually. I'll get your shares. Right now, as far as shares go, I have Caitlin, Donna, Leah, Jen, and Ashley. If I am Jenna, sorry, I forgot the A. If you did share and I did not get your name, just send me a little note down there and I'll get you. So when you see the death card come up in a reading, either that you are doing for someone else or that you're getting. What are some emotions that come up when you see the death card? What are some feelings that have come through? What are some situations that it's been about? I know, like I said, sometimes I've done the readings and, you know, it was about a relationship. And, you know, you kind of have to really kind of deep dive the person's opinion of that relationship. Like, is it really worth staying? And most often that answer is going to be no. But again, we don't like to change. Sometimes we need the universe to come in and kind of like kick our ass a little bit and kind of get us moving in that right direction. Yeah, the death card, I mean, it literally says death right there. And that, you know, as, you know, most people are, you know, have that fear of death or fear of the unknown. And that's what the death card is all about. It's working with those unknown energies. What is coming up next? So when you do see it in that reading, like I said, take a look at what's around it and, you know, really deep dive with the person that you're reading for and kind of unscary it a little bit, kind of soften it up a bit. So yeah, usually when, you know, again, when you're reading a card that has a lot going on, like this one, really see what pops out to you first. Sometimes I'm doing the reading and all I can really focus on is that kind of sun in the background. You know, that idea that's kind of coming, the sun will come up, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing. All right. If you have, you know, any questions or comments about the death card, definitely, you know, don't hesitate, you know, as I'm talking, keep popping them in there and we'll get you. Ashley says, now that I've been reading a little bit more, a better understanding of what it is. I did a reading for my friend and it popped up. Right. And you have to kind of say, no, it's a change. It is a transformation. At the beginning of the broadcast, you know, we looked at the hangman last week. And the hangman is in that pause phase. He's in that chrysalis phase. And we don't stay there. You know, we might have to hang out for a little bit until things kind of like calm down. But we get out of that chrysalis eventually. And hopefully we are changed. You know, the whole purpose of, you know, life is to grow and to mature and kind of level up and reach those new levels and be better. You know, we always want to do better. And we'll go ahead and look at, so the Tarot de Marseille. Death card, a little more straightforward. This one is a little bit, you know, again, based on very straightforward woodcut style art. And this one, you know, we really just have death and that image of with the scythe. And he's actually kind of decapitating people. It's a little bit more visceral. This one is a little bit more, you know, kind of stream with hands floating up, decapitated heads, a bloody scythe. So this one's a little bit more graphic. So this one is definitely, you know, it's still a transformation, but it does have a bit more of intense imagery. Gina, and I am doing readings at the end of the broadcast. The only thing that you have to do to get that is share the broadcast out, comment #shared, share it to your page, share it to a group you're in or a page, tag your friends, and then towards the end, I go through the list and I go through and get everybody a one card reading. And Tarot of the Cat People. So this one is that Grim Reaper imagery. We have the Grim Reaper with the scythe and the robe and the skull, and then a skeletal cat. So still, this one actually reminds me of like Chiron. the river Styx. Still kind of creepy. It's got those really deep blues, deep like turquoise. I really do like that image a lot. So then, of course, we get to the Thoth card. So here, I'm just going to kind of describe it, and then I'm going to show you. So we have that skeletal image again, and we also have, so it is a water card, right? It does represent the element of water. And we actually have plenty of that here. We have the fish. We have the fish and like a snake. And then we have crawfish. And it looks like a lotus flower, kind of like blossom down. It's almost like waves. We have like the image of like souls kind of going into the, it kind of reminds me of like ocean waves. And he has kind of like a weird like helmet on. It's almost like it looks like it could be like the back of the High Priestess where she has like the triple moon. It almost looks like it could be the back of that. Then we have death. We have the Scorpio sign and the Hebrew letter that I am still not familiar with. I probably won't be for a very long time. So that is the Thoth deck. Nikki, thank you very much. Yeah, this one is, some of the Thoth cards can be really intense. Like there's a lot going on. And it really takes sitting down, kind of like looking at it to really understand all the imagery going on there. We're about halfway through, so I'm going to go ahead and pop in the sponsor break before we move on to the other cards. Divination Station Tarot is sponsored by True Paranormal, the podcast. Leo Rizzuti takes you on a journey into the supernatural and the mysterious, the strange, and the things that simply cannot be explained. Join in by following True Paranormal, the podcast, on Facebook, where you'll be treated to spooky stories, tips for doing your own investigations, and interviews with paranormal investigators every week as you catch up with Leo on True Paranormal, the podcast. All right, so I actually just got a really cool vintage deck. It is a Golden Dawn tarot deck. I've never had a Golden Dawn deck. I'm working on it. I literally just got it over the weekend. So this is the death card in there. So Golden Dawn is that esoteric tradition. It's going to be very reminiscent of the Tarot de Marseille, and in a way, Thoth because of that. So here we have that skeletal image. It's almost a very simple, I don't want to say like elementary image, but we have that very simple image of the skeleton with the scythe, this severed heads and appendages. And then in the top corner there is an eagle and a flaming snake. And I am not familiar with exactly what those images mean. So I will be probably getting some information to study this deck a little bit. And then we have that sun in the corner there, and it has the rainbows. It has the colors. And Golden Dawn, again, I have said this in broadcast, Golden Dawn, there's a lot to do with colors, a lot of color, a lot of symbology. Here we have that tree of life in the middle, in like the banners around it, we have the different Hebrew letters. And then in the Rosicrucian cross, in the arms, we have the symbols of the elements and all of the different symbols here. So I am really looking forward to kind of deep diving this deck. It's another meaty deck. right? Who doesn't love a flaming snake? I almost thought it was like very similar to this, but here in the Thoth deck, we don't have a flaming snake, but we have a snake, and there's almost an eagle imagery in the corner. So, like, I'm wondering. All right, Nitab. In order to, the way my show works, if you join in, share out the broadcast either on your page or a group. If you hashtag, you have to write hashtag shared so I know that you shared it out. And then towards the end of the broadcast is when I do my live polls. And I'll do one card readings. All right, so we got that. We got a few more to look at here. This one is from Dark Angels Tarot. I love this deck. My little goth heart loves this deck so much. Here we have the Angel of Death imagery. So we have, that very, graceful angel figure with the black feathers. We have the scythe. We have the raven on the skull. Just trying to see if there's any other imagery with that. But there's, you really get that imagery of, she's in the forest with her raven, and she is bringing that message. So this is Dark Angels Tarot. Again, one of my favorite decks. Temptation. I bet it, yeah. I definitely think it would have something to do with temptation, especially leading up to the next couple of cards. That would make sense. Nikki, I do have you down as shared. I do get to the readings at the end. Ashley, it's the Dark Angels Tarot, and I freaking love it. It is a mass market deck. It's not an indie deck, so it's not that difficult to find. I got it at a local witch shop, and I was like, yes, I must. Here is the white sage. So white sage, the images are a little bit softer. So here, we have that tunnel and the light at the end of the tunnel. So, this one has that, it's almost like afterlife, right? You see that light at the end of the tunnel. And some decks will say transformation to kind of soften it up a little. I think we all want to run around in the forest with raven friends and flaming snakes. Just saying. Y'all are my people. So this is the Good Tarot. So the Good Tarot is one of those decks that really softens up the images. And here, we have the image of a young girl, and she is holding, it's like a phoenix. It's like the moment when the phoenix transforms. So this one, you're not going to have the scary cards, and even, death is transformation. And I brought this deck out. It's the first time that I brought this one out. This one is called the Ghetto Tarot. And this deck I love. It was a office warming gift. So this is Baron Samedi. Stuck in my head. Baron Samedi, or Baron Saturday. So in voodoo culture, in voodoo practice, that is how he is represented. It's how he's honored. The black top hat, the black cloak, the white face, the flower on the face, and the skull and the stick. And then, of course, in the background, we have the skulls on the cross. And I did want to read, there is a note in here for death, for transformation and change. Baron Saturday is the owner of the cemetery, Lord of Sex and Death, Scorpio energy right there, Master of Magic, and Masons, protector from zombies and leader of the Guide. The family of Haitian voodoo spirits embodies the power of death and fertility. So what I do know about the Guayde is they're kind of like the spirits that hang around cemeteries, and they kind of come and go as they please. So this is the way Haitians do represent Baron Samedi in voodoo rituals. And I really love this deck with a Veve on the back. So I knew as soon as I was doing death that I had to bring this card out. So that is where we're at as far as the other cards. Whitney, hello. So I do want to go over the tarot tip of the week. And the tarot tip is brought to you by Ashley this week. When your tarot cards call you out, what do you do? So, when you're doing a reading and you're asking for one thing and the tarot cards tell you exactly what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, that's when the tarot calls you out, and it will not let you ignore things. Tarot will not let you kind of breeze over the tough stuff. That's why we read tarot. Yes, it's divination. Yes, it kind of gives us an idea of where things are going. But what it really does, it removes false pretenses of what I want to pay attention to. It brings it right to your face, in the forefront. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to pay attention to right now. And then you try to pull another card, and that's when you get repeaters. Don't ignore the cards. They're going to call you out, and yeah. So if that does happen, that's fine. You just kind of got to do that work. Ask yourself, what am I ignoring? What am I trying to ignore? What do I want to happen? And what needs to happen? So that's kind of the tarot tip of the week, is if you get called out, do the work. Simple as that. Right? Simple, right? So last week, our reading for the week was Two of Cups, Fool, and Eight of Wands. So is there anything in particular in the past week that resonates for anybody here? So we had Two of Cups, which is that partnership, that romantic partnership. We had the Fool, kind of jumping in, leap of faith, starting new things, and quickly. Neither of those two energies are generally recommended in Mercury retrograde, but again, getting called out by the tarot. Sometimes you don't have control over that. So if there has, really think about this past week. Where did that energy show up for you? What was that moment where you were like the Fool and you really had to take that leap of faith, even if you didn't want to, even if it didn't feel like the right time? Sometimes we just have to. We can't help it. Sometimes life makes us fast forward things where we want to pause. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle real quick, and we'll do the forecast for the week ahead. And again, make sure you do share the broadcast out. Type hashtag shared so I can get you. And I'll be doing the one card readings very shortly. Right now on the list, I have Caitlin, Donna, Leah, Jenna, Ashley, Cynthia, Nikki, and Nitab. If I did miss anyone, again, please comment down there, hashtag shared, and I'll make sure to get you. All right, so by next week, Mercury will be shifting out of retrograde. We'll have a few days where it is in retrograde in Aquarius. Then it's going to shift and move forward back through Aquarius and on its way forward. We have the full moon in Virgo coming up. I believe it's Virgo. Full moon in Virgo coming up right after. So we'll probably talk about that next week a little bit. So I like to weave in a little bit of astrology here too. All right, so this week, King of Cups. So King of Cups energy is being very compassionate, being very kind to everybody else, and maybe not addressing your own emotions. So make sure you are still looking within and addressing your own emotions. Three of Wands, looking forward, really checking in, seeing what's, kind of on the horizon, maybe what we've been putting off doing because of the retrograde or because of weather, just being winter. I know in Buffalo we had a blizzard warning that kind of, it was really windy. And there are places in the South towns where the water has kind of overtaken like houses and highways. So I guess it was pretty bad, but it wasn't quite the blizzard that they were saying. And Page of Swords. So Page of Swords and King of Cups. We got kind of opposite energies there. King of Cups wants to, kind of wants to be very fair, very kind, and really listen to you. Page of Swords just wants to kind of go outside and chop some shit down. And in the middle, looking ahead. So we have this kind of passive, receptive, masculine energy. We have that pausing, kind of looking forward, planning energy. And that really quick wit, that really almost anxious. I'm getting almost that anxious feel to kind of move ahead with that Page of Swords. So as this week progresses, kind of, check in with those energies. I'm actually going to start putting the week ahead forecast in the Three of Cups Divine Arts Facebook group. So if you are not part of the group, follow that link on the page and just ask to join, and we'll get you right in. So with that, we'll always make sure to catch any lives, that anybody puts out. I know we have some pop-up lives planned. Some of the content creators here are going to kind of pop in and do shorter shows, kind of spur of the moment. Myself and Bridget are going to be taping a show on twin flames, so that should be interesting. So we are taping that on the 13th, Friday the 13th. So definitely watch Three of Cups for that. And like I said, jump in the group. We are actually taking we're taking questions, comments about that topic. If you want to, kind of ask the question anonymously, you can message myself. You can message Bridget. She does Mythic Journeys on Saturdays. Make sure you catch her replays if you haven't yet. It's fantastic, fantastic stuff. So we're going to be having a conversation about twin flames. So go ahead and pop in the group and get some questions out if you haven't. Cynthia up here in Ontario, 2 feet. Wow. My parents live about an hour south of here, and it's definitely a winter wonderland down there. But downtown Buffalo, we didn't really get too much. I still took the day off. It's fine. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start the one card pulls. So again, please comment down there if you shared. I just added Mary Lou, so I should be all caught up. So first off, Caitlin, Nine of Wands. Have you had a week? Have you had a rough week? Nine of Wands is kind of coming out of a rough spot and kind of looking around like, Am I done? Is it over? Are we good? Can I move ahead? So kind of check in, and see where you're at with that. Give yourself a chance to rest if you need it. Again, that was for Caitlin, 9 of Wands. Donna, you are up next. All right. 2 of Cups. So 2 of Cups is that partnership. It is really truly finding someone that you can share yourself with. It can be business partnership, it can be friendship, but it's really finding someone that you gel with, finding someone that you connect with and can kind of share back and forth. And share support too. That's an important part of that too. So Donna, that's 2 of Cups. All right, Leah. And if you are, go ahead and pop in the comments down there what resonates with you. You can also jump over to my Facebook page, which is Divination Station Tarot. You can leave feedback there. I would love to get a review from you. The card does resonate and you like what I do. I would love it if you hopped over there and gave me a recommendation and a review. That would be fantastic. All right, Leah. The Empress. So the Empress is divine feminine in the active, creative sense. She has a lot of earth energy, a lot of Taurus energy. She really enjoys creating and being surrounded by her creations. I know that sounds kind of vague. Like plants. So if you're getting ready to plan your garden, if you don't, maybe look into it. She really wants to be surrounded by life. And I am going to go ahead and pop my page link in the notes for this broadcast, so you got it. All right, and give me 1 second. There we go. All right. Sunshine, I just got it. All right, so Leah, it's the Empress. Jenna. Page of Cups. Page of Cups is very intuitive. It's very intuitive, very charming energy. If you have any, I'm kind of seeing this in like a networking situation, where you're kind of coming into contact with people that you're coming in contact with in a business sense, and you're kind of turning the charm on a little bit. You're using your intuition and you're using your artistic abilities to kind of schmooze a little bit. That's kind of what I'm getting for you with that card right now. All right, and Ashley. Let's see if we get any wands for you. Knight of Pentacles, kind of opposite of Wands. So this is for Ashley. Right now, just stay the course. Don't get too crazy, one way or the other. Just kind of stay the course. slow and steady. Don't try to bust down any walls. You don't have to race to that finish line. It's going to be there and you're going to get there. Just kind of take your time. It's definitely opposite of what you've been getting, which might be good. Yes. Buy all the yarn. So at Knit Buffalo, Jenna is an amazing, I'm just going to say you're a fiber artist. You can go ahead and put in the notes, throw your link down there. Jenna does amazing stuff with fiber. It is beautiful. 716 Knit. So yeah, throw your stuff down there. All right, Cynthia. Four of Swords. So Four of Swords is rest. It is respite. It is meditation. It is not only relaxing, it's not just, it is really dialing it back and getting in touch with the reason for it all. Getting in touch with the reason to just, that's kind of what's coming through with that. Really reflect on your motivations. And I hope that makes sense to you, because that's what was coming through for me. Really kind of taking that taking that time to meditate and really allow things to clarify themselves. All right, Nikki, give me 1 second. Just make sure I didn't. Okay. Yes. All right. Nikki. Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles is really handing you an opportunity to increase your resources. Now that can be money in the form of a new job opportunity, something like that. It's something where something is going to make itself known to you, but there's still work to put in to get it. I hope that makes sense to you, because that's what's coming through, is you will have an opportunity to increase, resources, money, anything like that. But you are going to have to work for it. It isn't going to necessarily just be handed to you. The opportunity is going to be handed there for you. All right, and Nitab. Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is that reflection on, am I putting my time and effort into the right things? Have I put my resources into the right places? You kind of, you've sown all the seeds and you got to wait for it to grow. So when we do plant a garden, when spring comes, did we plant the right thing, for what the weather's going to be like? We don't know until that time comes. Maybe it's a terrible year for tomatoes and we planted a shit ton of tomatoes. We don't know that until it starts to grow. So really doing that reflection of, okay, did I do the right thing? Is there time to course correct if I need to make an adjustment? A lot of patience in that card too. All right, we got Mary Lou. Knight of Swords. So Knight of Swords is very active energy. It's tons of air energy, lots of thoughts, lots of communication coming at you very quickly. It might actually even seem aggressive. So very, it might take a little bit of time to process all of the words that are kind of coming at you. And it can be any sort of communication. It can be email, it can be text message. It could be someone that text messages you, like 50 things before you even have a chance to respond. But it's going to feel a little bit overwhelming for you. And like I said, it might feel a little bit aggressive. So just kind of be aware of that energy. And again, for Mary Lou. Okay, we're on to Sunshine. Knight of Swords. So we got a lot of knights today. Knight of Wands. I might have said swords. Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands. Natab, I just got the message out for you. You had the Seven of Pentacles. So I would go ahead and check in the replay for that because I did just pull your card. This is for Sunshine. This is Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is very courageous, almost impetuous, but in that very, he wants to go. He's not quite as aggressive as the Knight of Swords, but he's very bluster. He's very like action first, think later. And it's a very, very courageous energy. So if you're looking to kind of take a step in a project or take a step forward with something, it's a great time to do that. You kind of have a little bit of that fire energy to propel you through. So again, that was for Sunshine. And that was Knight of Wands. Got a lot of court cards today. All right, so that just about wraps us up. Make sure you do like Three of Cups Divine Arts. Make sure you go in the upper right-hand corner, find the little bell, and turn all the notifications on so you never miss a show. I am Liz Whitaker, or Elizabeth Whitaker, of Divination Station Tarot. You can find my page. I did throw the link down there somewhere. You can go ahead and find that, like my page, and I post readings, I post little tips, tidbits through the week. I also have a newsletter. If you are interested in getting my newsletter, I will focus on workshops that I'm doing in the Buffalo, New York area there. So if you are in Buffalo, South Towns, North Towns, anything like that, go ahead and get on my mailing list and you will never miss an event. This week I will be at Rising Goddess on Wednesday, and that is in Tonawanda. I will have some more spells there. Replenishing my money manifestation spell bags. And I did a protection one as well. So definitely keep an eye on my page. I will be adding some features for my spell bags, custom spell work. If you do have any questions or anything that you do want worked on, contact me. I can get you my consultation rates. We can work on something with that. And Polly, can you have a reading? I am just about wrapping up, but if you do want to share the broadcast out, go ahead and share it and tag one of your friends, anything like that, and I'll get you a card. If you are interested in getting on my mailing list, please direct message me, Elizabeth Whitaker, or go to my page and direct message the page with your email. I'll make sure to get you on. I will be in Cuba, New York, this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you are in the southern tier, I will be doing readings at the Palmer Opera House. They're having a psychic fair, so I will be there on Saturday. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on. I do plan on doing a pop-up on Celtic Cross. I have not forgotten. I have just been very busy with moving and all that. And again, Polly, I would suggest if you want to join next week or join one of the other broadcasts, definitely go ahead and do that. We do card pulls at the end of the broadcast, and we're right at 9 o'clock now. If you do want a reading, you can always pop over to my page and comment there. And I think that's it. Oh, I'll show you a spell bag. So this is my money manifestation. So I have my new cards there. So you'll see this on most of my new branding stuff. And we have the candles. We have a little luck token there. Then we have crystals and herbs in there. So again, I will have those for sale. Also, my candles. If you are on my page, you've seen the pictures of these. This one is the Celestial Vetiver, and it is amazing. I also have Sparkling Verbena, which is a very bright, fizzy, like lemon lime, tonka, nice and sweet and bright. So I will have those as well. I'm going to wrap up here right at my hour. I do want to thank you all. Thank you. I'm so happy you like them. So like I said, go ahead and reach out to me if you are interested in anything else that you saw here. And I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye.